Fun. And now we're live. Hello and welcome to Divine Guide Dialogues with Lisa Jones and Golden Duffy. And today is Friday Flow, and we're talking about, are you freaked out? Because I literally just ran in the door and I was totally freaked out.
Yeah. We're going to talk about what freaks Lisa out today.
What freaks Lisa out today and why, you know, the divine is always with us. And this is just it's just a funny story because, I mean, this is what we do all the time in life with much bigger things. And so this is just a great little thing. So anyway, it all started actually this morning when I saw a weird bruise on the back of my leg. And I'm like, where did this come from? This is just, you know, kind of freaky. I must be easily bruised right now. And right now I'm going through actually a 10-day colonic, which again, we've discussed a few times, but basically it's putting water up through your rectum and cleaning out your colon. And yes, there were some more things today. Yeah, the shit is still hitting the fan. And there were some more worms today. I just had to say that. So anyway, parasites.
You're so free with that now.
I'm so free. I'm fine. I'm not even blushing because you know what? Get them out of me. I don't want worms inside of me. So they're gone. They're gone.
You don't want to know.
So anyway, on the way home, I washed my friend's car because I now have an abundance of cars at my disposal. I have the person whose house I'm staying in right now.
This is and then we have people saying, you want to say hello?
Hi.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
We're actually at a party right now. We're not at a party. We're getting ready.
Oh my gosh. I know. Well, yeah. And then you have your whole thing. So anyway, I have 3 cars and I'm returning one of them and I wanted to wash it because that's how I am. I like fill it up with gas and wash it and return it. But anyway, I get home and I'm washing my hands, getting ready to jump on here. And all of a sudden I see this really dark, I thought it was another bruise on my arm. And I literally thought I had some sort of disease and that like I was going to die. I mean,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
But I literally was like, oh my God, here I am in Maui all by myself. All my friends are off island. And what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the hospital. I've got these bruises. Because I did notice another bruise. There it is right there on my finger. And so again, I'm like, that's what I saw first. And then I saw it on my arm. And then as I went to dry my hands, there was neon colored soap all over my white shirt. And I wish it's sitting in a sink full of bleach right now, but I wished I had saved it to show you because what had happened is when I was washing the car, there was all the soap. I was running around. It was one of those where you use the wand, you know, and wash yourself. Yeah. And so the soap was like falling on me, obviously. And so it had stained my arm and that's what it was. So I'm not dying.
There's a couple of lessons here. One is just go through a drive-through car wash and don't wash the car yourself. That's
there were things on the top for the, you know, to put the, you know, it's a roof rack on there. So I was freaking out. I didn't think I could go through one of the drive-throughs.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was being careful.
You were. And then the other one is like these assumptions that we make, right? Yeah. We do this all the time in life where we make assumptions about people in our relationships or certain circumstances and we literally freak out. And then we create this huge story in our head, right? Which is exactly what you did. And I'm glad you did it because what it's going to do is this is going to clear this out for you.
Yeah.
Because obviously you had these underlying, and that's what people need to understand is we have these underlying vibrations that cause manifestations. And if we're not aware of them, then we're creating by default instead of deliberate creating.
That's right. And that's,
we're able to release that fear for you because you have awareness around it.
Exactly. And that's my whole point. And I almost feel like this all happened just so we could share this, you know, today about Friday Flow because truly, I mean, here I am, I'm leading this, you know, spiritual life and everything's like, oh, it's all love and light. Everything's good. But then like the second that I think, oh my God, I have some debilitating disease and blah, 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 instead of me falling back on my spirituality and knowing that I am safe, no matter what happens, even if I were to pass suddenly, I'm still safe because I'm eternal and I'm just going to go on to the next, you know, situation, whatever that is. And
it was funny because we talked about being safe yesterday.
Yes.
And then for this to show up for you today is just to show you, okay, where are the areas in your life where you don't feel safe?
Yeah, exactly.
And the health, you know, just the health thing, because you're going through this colonics and you're releasing all this stuff. Right. You know, maybe that's something that is weighing on you a little bit, just being out there. Make some friends.
Yeah, I need some friends. Anyone want to be my friend on Maui? Come be my friend.
Make some friends. Yeah, because we don't want you. I'll just fly out there. I mean, if anything happens, I'm there. So don't
okay,
even
good.
worry.
All right, good. So check mark. I just have somebody that's going to come out and good.
In a second.
But again, I wanted to use this, and it was so funny because literally when I saw the soap and it was just all these funky colors when I was spraying it on the car, I'm like, what is, it's like lime green and grape purple and, you know, this crazy yellow. I was like, this is wild. And meanwhile, it's like showering behind me and on me. And so it was funny. It's again, this is what's so funny is that when I channel the angels or, you know, whoever comes through, well, it's generally the angels. They're so funny. And this is a universal joke. I mean, this was a universe joke on me to show me once again, like, okay, let's freak her out, you know?
See how she deals with these car wash bubbles.
Yeah. Oh dear. So anyway, talk about making a mountain over a molehill, which was, I see there's two watchers. So, hey,
cool.
Hello.
Hey.
Type in, say hello, or give us a thumbs up, or, you know, some love, because this is the Divine Guide Dialogues Friday Flow. And if you have any questions, maybe you freaked out about something recently, we can talk about it. Let's, you know, share. And so what about you, Golden? What's going on? Tell me. I know you just arrived.
Yeah, I just had a really boring ride from California to Arizona. It's got to be like one of the most boring rides. There is nothing. It's like cactus and desert, and it's not really that exciting. So
when I drove across Kansas, I have to say, I love the state of Kansas, but there was not a whole lot there either.
No, Kansas is really, it's a little scary in Kansas. It feels like deliverance, you know? Don't run out of gas, right?
Yeah, I was going to say there, if you break down on the side of the road, I don't know what might happen. So
yeah, exactly. But no, I've had things like you know, it's so weird, and I don't know why this is coming up, but I remember this. This was a big awareness for me, and it was years ago. I mean, maybe like 10 years ago, and I don't know why this is coming up, but obviously it's meant to be shared. Because it was probably like one of the biggest freakouts I ever had, that like nothing ever came to fruition. It was just like the story that happened in my head. So I used to go to the gym with this guy, and we were friends, and there was like a whole group of us that would go to the gym and say hello to each other in the morning. Right. And there was this woman there, and I believe she had like fake boobs. And I said something to this guy about her fake boobs, like jokingly, you know.
Right.
It was way back when I was judgmental. Now I live in Orange County, so
yeah,
like
I probably
no judgment
plastic. Yeah.
I wish people would stop doing what they're doing to their faces, because it's scary. Yeah. But anyway, so I said something to him, and then I created this whole scenario in my head about him telling her, about her getting mad at me, about all these other people getting mad at me. And I literally didn't go to the gym for like a couple of days because I was afraid.
Oh
like,
my goodness.
This is how I used to be. I'm not like,
Oh, I remember those days too. Like I would, you know, like you'd think about things you've said, and then you just turn yourself into a frenzy over it.
You turn yourself upside down, and you're like, you know, you create this huge scenario that never happens. It's such a waste of energy, and it creates all this fear. However, I will say there's something inside of us that we're learning from all this. If we can take some awareness, like you did, take some awareness to it and say, okay, what do I need to do to feel safe in Hawaii?
Yeah.
You know, if there was something that happened, but knowing that you're always safe, that's the vibration that you really want to come from.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it is so interesting how our minds like literally just take us instantly to the worst case scenario in so many instances. And so anyway, it's just, again, it's all about awareness and stopping your mind instead of jumping on that, you know, mind thought and then following it down the rabbit hole. You know, it's like all of a sudden sit back and be like, oh, wait a minute, my mind just had this thought. Yeah. That's all it is. And then
Michael Singer talks a lot about that in Untethered Soul, you know, separating yourself from the mind, because something that triggers you may not trigger someone else in the same way because it's an experience that you had in the past. I had a client once who, she had some real fears around suicide, and she had an uncle who had committed suicide like the year prior. And she was afraid that this was like a family, like a generational thing that she was going to be a part of. And so she would have suicidal thoughts. And I think, I mean, I don't know if everyone in the world has had suicidal thoughts, but I know that I have, like, especially as a teenager. And sometimes when life isn't going right, like you consider like, I just want to get out of here, you know, nothing.
Right. Oh yeah.
Nothing, right. So, and I think a lot of teenagers do that too, you know, when they're going through their hormones and stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, the problem is when somebody actually goes to that level of suicide is that they bought into the thoughts and they thought the thoughts were them and they let the thoughts control them. So I think it's a really good idea. Oh, Candy's here. I think it's a good idea for you to really take higher perspective on your thoughts and start looking at your thoughts. And, you know, Lisa, you could have just been like, okay, you know, what could this be? Instead of it being like this catastrophic disease, you know, you could have stopped for a second and gone, okay, what else could this be, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, but I mean,
and meanwhile, as I'm scrubbing it off, as I'm scrubbing it off, I'm like, okay, which hospital am I going to? Like, am I, you know? And it was weird. My veins were all big. Now they're all small again. I don't know what's going. I don't know. I think this colonic.
You blew them up with your mind. That's what you did. You blew up your veins with your mind.
I think that's exactly what it was.
We do that, right? I mean, there's even in that Letting Go book from David Hawkins, he talks about personality disorders and how when people have separate personalities, each personality will have its own affliction. So a certain personality will have certain allergies to foods, but then the other personality doesn't have it. So it's definitely about, you know, the way we think and what we identify with. So
absolutely.
I mean, that tells you.
And look at how powerful, and look at how powerful your brain is or your mind is when you could split yourself, have multiple personalities, and have different diseases with each personality. I mean, that's
amazing.
Crazy. Yeah,
it's amazing.
It is.
And putting it in that perspective, it's like, you know, if you've ever had, let's say like you've had a headache or like something that's been bothering you for a long time, and then you do something else to your body. And then all of a sudden that affliction goes away. Like, let's say you broke your leg or whatever. So then all of your pain and all of your focus goes to your leg, and then you forget that you ever had, you know, that you had these headaches. So I just find it really interesting that it's about focus. If you've ever done any of Pam Grout's experiments, there's one experiment that she talks about where you're supposed to notice certain color cars.
Oh, right.
And, I think it was bronze or some bizarre color, gold colored cars. Yeah. Like sand colored cars or something. You know, it was beige, like sand color. And I remember the day I did it, I was driving from Middlebury, Connecticut to like Danbury, which is like a 45-minute ride on the highway. Right. And I literally, and I literally saw 108 of these cars, and I was really specific about the color. Like if it was too brown, I wouldn't count it. So it's all about focus. You know, like when you start to think about a car that you want, then all of a sudden you see them everywhere. So it's all about what you're focused on. And if you had focused on that and not realized that it was so, your arm probably would have started hurting at some point because you would have been activating all of that energy towards that and going, there's something wrong, right?
Right, absolutely. And the fact that and it all started, like I said, this morning when I saw that weird bruise on the back of my leg, I'm like, that's so weird. I wonder why I'm bruising, you know, so that started the thought today. Yep. And then when I had the dark, you know, bruise on my arm with my veins all, I swear to God, they were like pulsing on my arm. I'm like, now they're all gone. I was like the Hulk. I was like, you know, it was crazy. It's crazy what your body can do, you know, just to freak you out. And then meanwhile, it was a funny laugh when I turned and saw all the purple and pink, or, you know, green.
Yeah, we should have seen that. That would have been
funny. Oh my God. As soon as after I put it in the water, I'm like, oh, that would have been a good prop to show everybody because it was hilarious. It was kind of like this color green. I had to change my shirt, you know.
I've seen those rainbow bubbles. They're impressive.
Right? Yeah, they're kind of cool. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Now, also you were mentioning, again, this is Divine Dialogues Friday Flow, and you were talking about a new book that you're listening to.
Oh, yes. This is another David Hawking book. So I looked around for an Audible book the other day. I love Audible. And the same person who spoke his other book, Letting Go, which I love, but I've referred clients to the Letting Go book, and because you own the book, it's big.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it is big. Yeah.
And I walk every day. So yeah, go ahead. So I walk every day. So I love to listen to it. So this new one, did I send you a picture? Hold on. I'm going to move. Oh, my phone's right here. This new one is shorter, and it just feels like, and the guy who reads the book, his voice is really cool.
Oh, good. Yeah, you were saying you didn't really care for David Hawkins' voice.
He's kind of dry. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard him, but he's definitely dry. I don't think I've ever heard him speak. But, it sounds like he might have been a smoker. I don't know. I didn't care for it.
Yeah, it's like a gravelly
So it's called Success is for You. Oh, God. I just started it. Using heart-centered power principles for lasting abundance and fulfillment. It is so
wow.
good.
I'm not going to type, just say successes for you.
Successes for You by David R. Hawkins.
Okay.
Hawkins.
Okay, great. I'll put it in the comment section.
And this is the guy who actually speaks the book is I think he's a psychologist who started following Hawkins and just fell in love with this guy and said he's the only spiritual teacher that you ever need. Like, his stuff is so brilliant. And he talks about how success is measured in our society by the outside stuff. It's by the limousines, by the fancy clothes, by the money, by the fame, the fortune. But the reality is, because we're seeing so many suicides and things with people who look like they have everything, saying that, like, vibrationally and foundationally, if you don't get this, the fact that it all starts within, and that it's an actual feeling, it's a state of being that you create, that the limos and the money and the fame and fortune are all just, what did I call it yesterday? They're just a product of it. So they're just really, it's just like a benefit to it, but it's not what drives the success.
No. Because you can't feel the limousine, or, you gather all this stuff around you, but you still feel empty.
Yeah. And it's all about, that was the thing about the emptiness. It was all about fulfilling yourself through service to others. And he was saying, like, why do some restaurants do really well and then other restaurants fail? And they're like, they looked at, why that was. And it was because, some restaurants were just all about catering to the customer and serving the customer and wanting the best for the customer, where other people were about the bottom line and how much money they could make. So that energy, it vibrates through the business and it creates business. So anything you're trying to create, and he's saying, you can create anything you want, anything you feel passionate about. If you're in service and you're in the right energy, then you're going to create massive success and abundance.
Wow. I love that.
It will be fulfilling.
Yeah. And there was a book years ago, like Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow or something. And again, I think it was probably too simplistic, or maybe it was too far ahead for most people at that time. But I remember there was a lot of pushback on that whole thing. But I so believe it.
It's a hard concept. It's not a concept that we're taught socially.
Not at all. No, we're totally taught just the opposite. It's like chase the money, chase the money,
chase people. Make money, be successful, right?
Yeah. So, I love that. Well, I'm definitely going to get that book to listen to.
You'll love it, and we'll talk about it some more, because there's just some really great principles in it that I totally believe and know that the two of us are living right now. Just about living your highest joys and your passion, and offering it to people in service, so that, and Michael Bernard Beckwith talks about that. Like, if you're in survival mode, you're not available to live your passions and your gifts. So why would the divine, why would God, why would Source want you to ever live like that? So it's like, we're meant to do this. It's our birthright to live our passions and be abundant. It's just our belief systems and the programmings that keep us from it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what's so exciting, because I feel like, knowing these concepts can just break somebody's heart open and really follow their path, which is life-changing. I mean, again, if you're in a job that you hate, if you're in a relationship that's not working for you, if your, your health is not where you want it to be, those are all signs that you need to do something different. Because if you keep doing the same thing, nothing's going to change. And so, that's why a lot of times, like, people in their work, in their jobs, like, they don't like it to begin with. Well, then it gets worse. Right. And they just keep putting up with it. Well, then it gets worse. And again, these are all divine messages telling you to get out, that you're in the wrong spot, that this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. And I know it's so scary for people, because they feel like, well, this is my paycheck. This is my benefits and all that stuff. But it's
supposed to be scary. It's working through that fear that actually creates your biggest expansion. Like, we were so unhappy living in Connecticut, and Connecticut is a beautiful place. We just really just tapped out in the winters, and we just knew that there was another place for us to go. And we conquered some of the biggest fear of our entire lives doing that. Just moving, like you, Lisa, not having a home, not having a job, not knowing what, it was the most uncertain time in our lives. And the level of joy that we've experienced from doing that is a million times anything that we ever would have experienced staying where we were. I know that for a fact. So it's walking through those fears and having faith that you're going to be met on the other side.
Absolutely. And that's the key is like literally the whole idea of facing your fear and walking into it as opposed to avoiding it and just, you know, getting buried deeper and deeper into that place of, you know, just going nowhere. Basically.
Barely just surviving. You're not living, right? You're waiting to die. We've talked about that, you know, waiting to die.
Absolutely. And that, you know, and that was for me again, you and I ironically left the state of Connecticut. I think it was on the same day. If not the same day. No, it was June 30th. Right? Oh yeah. That's the day. Yeah.
We drove out on June 30th and you drove out on June 30th.
We drove out. Yeah. So,
not knowing we'd both end up in the West.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who knew that I would end up out here? But anyway, but then I ended up moving to another state, which again was beautiful. And I mean, there was nothing wrong with the state, but it just didn't work for me. And so it just kept getting more and more dark there for me as far as, you know, just feeling isolated and feeling alone and not having, you know, I just was not being nurtured there at all. My soul was dying. And again, like you talked about those suicidal thoughts. I mean, it wasn't like I was out looking at guns or buying.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I definitely was not, you know, suicidal to the point of actually taking action on it. But my thoughts were, if this is where I'm going to stay for the rest of my life, I can't do it. Like, I'd rather not be here, which is so sad. And so it's been so scary, but I had to take that leap of faith because I had come out here to Hawaii for 2 months in February and March just to see. And it was so magical and the most amazing things happened. And like you were talking about, the joy that I've felt here was beyond anything I've ever experienced living anywhere. And just the people here have embraced me so beautifully. And I feel like I have my ohana, even though most of them are off island right now, but I'm making new friends. And tonight I'm so excited. They just opened a brand new healing center right in the town that I'm going to be living in, because that was one of my not fears, but I was thinking, I wasn't sure where to land, but because a lot of what I do is on the other side of the island, but they've just opened a brand new one right in my town. So tonight is a static dance. So I'm going to go dancing, and it's for the sunset, and I'm super, super excited. So
what does that mean? Static dance?
A static dance is basically, so there's no drugs, no alcohol. They just play really fun, crazy music. You know, people dress like, I'll wear a skirt, and, you know, you just go in and it's just free flow dancing. Wow. And it's just so fun, and it's just allowing your body to express itself. And I did it in Bali. That's the only time I've ever done it before. But yeah, I just got an email last night. I'm like, oh my gosh, a static dance right here in Wailea.
That's so fun. That sounds sober dancing. There you go.
Yeah, sober dancing. Hey, alcohol-free buddies. That's the fun part now.
Yeah. I have my first alcohol-free party tomorrow. My daughter's baby shower. So I'm so looking forward to it. I'm 22 days alcohol-free now, and it's weird. I'm losing track. I don't even know. It's like it's not part of my everyday mindset. And for some of you that may have never experienced this before, it's like any addiction. It's like sugar. It's like TV. It's like anything that you just do every single day, almost unconsciously.
Right.
But for me, in the last couple of years, it was just something that was on my heart. And, you know, I would wake up often just not feeling well, even with just one drink. I knew that I truly think this happens because Lisa and I were going through the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
When you start to really spiritual awaken, I think you get really sensitive to alcohol.
Yeah,
so even though it wouldn't really affect me, like I wouldn't really get a buzz, and I hate being drunk. That's why I know I could never be an alcoholic, because I hate the feeling of being out of control. So I would have a drink or two and then just wake up and feel like crap the next day, like totally hungover. So for me, it was just letting that go and letting that habit go of relaxing and having a glass of wine and just that social programming. So, so you can really equate it to any addiction where it starts to just lose hold of you after a while, and you just like, it was never even in your life. That's the way it's starting to feel, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, and again, like I keep saying, because so I've been alcohol free since January 1, so I don't even know what day I'm at. Like,
right? It's like you're losing track, which is cool.
Yeah, and again, most of my friends here are alcohol free, which is great too. But if you think about it, I know me, I started drinking probably age 14, 15, you know, and like I didn't even know who I was alcohol free. That's what's so crazy is it's like our whole social programming around alcohol is just like, you know, you don't even know. And again, I as I say, I became allergic to alcohol because first of all, I didn't even really like the taste to begin with. And then secondly, I would have one glass of wine and wake up the next morning and just feel like I'd been hit by a truck. Yeah. So it just was so not worth it. And yet being around people that drink all the time, it is difficult. So for me, I'm just happy that, I'm now in a place where I'm surrounded by people that
I am
aren't.
too. Like, my life is opening up in that way where I'm starting to just make friends, and no one in my family right now is drinking, which is really cool.
Yeah. And again, not that you can't do it if people are drinking around you. There's a great group on Facebook, When You're No Beer.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I told Golden about it, and she's taking the challenge. Kim, definitely. Let's reconnect for sure.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. So, so One Year No Beer, we're actually going to have them on pretty soon. The guys that are in charge of that, we're going to do a little interview with them and just help people to see this in a different light, because I think just the whole idea of AA has been super negative just from what I've seen in people in my life, and taking it on as a disease and wearing it and being ashamed of it. I think that we need to change the social programming on that as well.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Cool. All right. So anything else? I've got a family. We're going to go to dinner.
I know. You've got your baby shower this weekend for your daughter. That's so exciting. When does she do?
She's 29 weeks. So she's actually due August 30th, which is funny because my birthday is August 29th. But we're hoping she's going to go a little earlier because for our schedule's sake.
Yeah, you're going to schedule baby.
Yeah, because my kids start school, so it would be great if she could go on her sister's birthday, which is August 10th. So we're setting our intentions for this baby.
There you go.
I'm sure she's going to show us what's up. So yeah, this is for baby Kinsley, and oh my God, I'm like out of my mind excited. So we're going to meet her whole. Yeah, I know. Oh my God. So we came up with Gigi. Which is, actually my daughter's boyfriend came up with this. What was it for? Golden Granny. Which
I love it. Golden Granny. How perfect is that?
Golden Granny. Yeah. So I'm kind of loving that. We're gonna go with that.
I love it too.
We're gonna get to meet his whole family, Kevin's family, Kaylee's boyfriend, and so we've never done that before. So that's gonna be super fun.
Great.
So yeah, we're gonna sweat. It's 115 degrees, but
oh my gosh.
It's okay. We have a pool. We have air conditioning. It's going to be fine. It's like a sauna. I don't know how people live in the desert, honestly.
Oh my goodness.
Out and it's hot. It's so hot.
Well, stay in that air conditioning.
Yeah, and I'll just go back to California on Sunday and remember why I love it so much. Not like I need reminding.
That's right. Well, so don't forget, join us on Monday for Manifestation Monday. And I think we'll do, again, we didn't do the last 2 days or the last two shows, little bit of not inspiration, but any kind of channeling. But you know what? We'll do that. We'll just save that for.
We are going to do it. Don't worry. We got plenty of stuff ready for you guys. So Monday we'll get back on our normal schedule. It'll probably be in the afternoon Pacific time. And we'll probably post that in the morning on Monday when we're more sure about our schedules.
All right, good. Have fun.
Yeah, everybody have a great weekend, and thanks for being with us. We love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Ciao.
And it's still live.